leading lady ingenue was at that time. So that was the message that...
What if everything you thought you knew about a beloved TV star was only half the story? What if the smile, the fame, and the applause were hiding years of pain, pressure, and secrets that almost broke her? In the next few minutes, you're going to hear a side of Melissa Gilbert that fans of Little House on the Prairie were never meant to see. And once you hear it, you'll never look at her the same way again. Melissa Gilbert became famous before she was even a teenager. To the world, she was Laura Ingalls, brave, sweet, and full of hope. But behind the scenes, Melissa was growing up fast in a world that didn't protect her. The shocking secret? While millions of kids wanted to be her, Melissa secretly wished she could escape it all. Fame didn't save her. It trapped her. From the outside, her life looked perfect. Red carpets, studio lights, smiling interviews. But inside, Melissa was dealing with loneliness, insecurity, and a constant fear of not being good enough. She wasn't just acting on screen. She was acting off screen too, pretending she was okay when she really wasn't. Here's the part no one talks about. Melissa felt invisible in her own success. As a child star, her worth was tied to ratings and performance. If the show was loved, she was loved. If it wasn't, she felt like she had failed. That pressure followed her into adulthood. And the emotional weight of that never really went away. She later revealed that she struggled with self-esteem and identity for years. Who was she without Laura Ingalls? Who was she when the cameras stopped rolling? Those questions haunted her. And instead of answers, she found confusion, bad relationships, and unhealthy choices. But wait, here's where it gets even deeper. Melissa didn't just battle emotional pain. She also faced serious health issues that she kept quiet about for a long time. Chronic pain, surgeries, and physical struggles became part of her daily life. While fans saw her smiling in public, she was often suffering in private. That's the secret that shocked people the most. The woman who looked strong on screen was barely holding herself together behind closed doors. And yet, she didn't want pity. She wanted control. She wanted her story back. So one day, she made a choice that changed everything. She decided to stop hiding. She started speaking her truth. Not the Hollywood version. Not the filtered version. The real version. That decision opened the door to everything you're about to hear next: the fame, the fall, the scandals, the betrayals, and the shocking twist no one saw coming. Because Melissa Gilbert's life wasn't just a success story. It was a survival story. And we're only getting started. Melissa Gilbert didn't just grow up on television, she grew up under a microscope. By the time most kids were learning who they were, Melissa already had millions of people telling her who she should be. And at first, it felt like a dream. But dreams can turn into pressure. And pressure can turn into chaos. As Little House on the Prairie became a global hit, Melissa became one of the most recognizable faces in America. She was praised everywhere she went. Adults adored her. Kids copied her. Studios depended on her. And that's when the real problem began. When your value is tied to fame, you start chasing approval instead of happiness. Here's the truth that fans didn't see. Melissa felt lost as the show went on. She wasn't just playing Laura Ingalls, she was stuck inside her. The role became her identity. And when the series ended, so did the version of life she knew. Suddenly, the applause faded. The scripts stopped coming. And Melissa was left asking, "Now what?" That's when things started to fall apart. Without the structure of the show, Melissa struggled to find her footing. She went through difficult relationships, public breakups, and emotional roller coasters that tabloids couldn't get enough of. Every mistake became a headline. Every tear became entertainment. The same media that once praised her now watched her. Every move, waiting for her to slip. And slip she did. There were rumors, arguments, personal choices that didn't match the perfect girl image fans expected. And the world didn't forgive her for it. Instead, they judged her. But what they didn't understand was this: Melissa wasn't rebelling. She was trying to survive. She was trying to figure out who she was without a script. without applause, without being told what to say and how to smile. And in that search, she made choices that came from pain, not confidence. Behind the scenes, she was also dealing with health struggles that made everything harder. Chronic pain, injuries, and surgeries took a toll on her physically and mentally. Imagine waking up every day with pain, while the world still expects you to look perfect. That pressure pushed her into isolation. She felt like she didn't belong anywhere, not in Hollywood, and not in a normal life either. She was too famous to be invisible, and too broken to feel seen. And then came the scandals. Not the dramatic, wild ones you see in movies, but the quiet kind. The ones that hurt deeper. Failed marriages. Trust broken. Dreams slipping away. These weren't just headlines, they were her real life. At one point, Melissa even admitted she felt ashamed of who she had become. Not because she was bad, but because she felt she had lost herself. But here's the twist, and this is where the story gets powerful. Instead of disappearing, Melissa decided to face it all. The fame. The mistakes. The pain. She chose to stop running from her past and start owning it. And that choice led her into the hidden world behind the spotlight, a life most fans never knew existed. That's where the real truth begins. What happens when the cameras shut off and the applause fades? For Melissa Gilbert, that's when the real story began. Away from red carpets and interviews, her life looked nothing like the fairy tale fans imagined. In fact, the hidden version of Melissa was fighting battles no one ever saw. Behind the spotlight, Melissa was struggling to hold herself together. She wasn't living in luxury and ease, she was living in pain, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. While the world remembered her as the bright-eyed Laura Ingalls, Melissa herself felt tired, worn down, and unsure of her place in life. Here's what shocked people the most when she finally spoke out: she felt lonely, all the time. Fame didn't give her connection. It took it away. Most of her relationships were shaped by her celebrity, not her personality. People wanted Laura Ingalls, not Melissa Gilbert. And that hurt more than any bad headline ever could. She started pulling away from Hollywood events. The pressure to perform as a person became too heavy. Every appearance felt fake. Every smile felt forced. And slowly, she began choosing privacy over popularity. But privacy didn't mean peace. Melissa was also dealing with serious health issues that drained her energy and confidence. Years of physical pain, surgeries, and medication made daily life a struggle. Some days, just getting out of bed felt like a victory. And yet, she kept showing up, not for fame, but because she didn't know any other way to live. At the same time, her personal life was far from stable. She went through difficult relationships, heartbreak, and moments of deep self-doubt. She questioned her worth, her future, and whether she would ever feel truly okay again. Here's the part that hits hardest: Melissa felt like she had failed her younger self. She thought fame would protect her. Instead, it exposed her. She thought success would make her happy. Instead, it made her anxious. And she thought love would save her, but it often left her more broken than before. But something powerful happened in the middle of all that pain. She stopped pretending. Melissa began to accept that she didn't need to be perfect. She didn't need to live up to anyone's expectations. She didn't need to be Laura Ingalls anymore. She just needed to be real. That's when she started writing, speaking, and sharing her truth. Not as a celebrity, but as a human being. And the response shocked her. People didn't turn away. They leaned in. Fans didn't want the fairy tale. They wanted honesty. And honesty brought healing. But as her voice got stronger, so did the attention. Old stories came back. Rumors resurfaced. And the controversies that once shook her career were suddenly in the spotlight again. And this time, Melissa wasn't hiding. She was ready to face them head-on. Even the most beloved celebrities face scrutiny, but few have experienced it quite like Melissa Gilbert. Over the years, her name has been linked to controversies that left fans shocked, disappointed, and desperate for answers. Some were small, some were massive, and all of them revealed the human behind the star, flawed, vulnerable, and determined to survive. One controversy that shook the public involved her personal relationships. Fans had always idolized Melissa as Laura Ingalls, the wholesome, sweet girl next door. But the reality was far more complicated. She navigated difficult romances, public breakups, and heartbreak that often made headlines. The media twisted every detail, turning private pain into public spectacle. The truth? She was learning to love and trust while carrying the weight of fame, no easy task. Another controversy arose from her career choices after Little House on the Prairie. Melissa made bold moves that some fans didn't understand. She took risks, experimented with different roles, and even challenged the Hollywood system that had shaped her childhood. Critics called her rebellious or lost, but in reality, Melissa was reclaiming her agency. She wanted to be more than the child star everyone remembered. She wanted to define herself on her terms. Then came the shocking rumors about strained family ties. Reports surfaced about tension with fellow cast members and disagreements behind the scenes. While some stories were exaggerated, others revealed cracks in relationships fans had assumed were perfect. These revelations were painful for her, not because of public judgment, but because family and colleagues mattered deeply to her. Yet she chose to confront these situations with honesty rather than denial, which only added to the intrigue and public attention. The health struggles she faced also became a subject of public curiosity. Chronic pain, surgeries, and the emotional toll of growing up in the spotlight were often misinterpreted or sensationalized. The tabloids painted her as fragile or struggling, but Melissa used these experiences to advocate for authenticity and resilience. She spoke openly about her challenges, teaching fans that vulnerability is not weakness but courage. Perhaps the most surprising controversy was Melissa's decision to speak publicly about the dark side of child stardom. She revealed the emotional and psychological pressures that come with fame at a young age, pressures that many assumed didn't exist. This confession sparked nationwide conversation, forcing Hollywood to examine how it treats young actors and their well-being. Melissa's bravery turned criticism into awareness, and rumors into dialogue. Despite these scandals and controversies, Melissa's fanbase didn't abandon her. If anything, her honesty drew people closer. They admired her resilience, her willingness to confront difficult truths, and her refusal to let fame define her life entirely. But the public attention also meant she couldn't hide from the past or the rumors. Every revelation, every candid interview, became a new headline. Through it all, Melissa Gilbert proved that controversy doesn't define you, your response does. And the way she embraced her past, acknowledged her struggles, and shared her story prepared her for the next chapter, the luxurious yet complicated life she would lead behind the scenes, away from the judgmental gaze of the world. When people think of Melissa Gilbert today, they often picture the young star of Little House on the Prairie, but the reality of her adult life is far more complex and far more fascinating. After years of struggle, controversy, and personal growth, Melissa found a way to build a life that, on the surface, looks luxurious, but beneath the glamour, it carries lessons of resilience, sacrifice, and careful reinvention. Melissa didn't inherit fame, she earned it. And with that fame came opportunities many can only dream of. Exclusive events, elegant homes, beautiful cars, yes, she enjoys the material perks of her career. But unlike some celebrities who flaunt wealth for status, Melissa approached it differently. She invested wisely, focused on meaningful projects, and cultivated spaces that gave her peace and privacy. Her luxury is not just about money, it's about control over her life, something she lacked as a child star. One of the most surprising aspects of her lifestyle is how much she values quiet and solitude. While fans see her at public events or in interviews, much of her life is spent away from cameras. Private retreats, family time, and hobbies fill her days. This balance allowed her to recover from the chaos of Hollywood and regain her sense of self. For Melissa, luxury isn't measured by opulence alone, it's measured by freedom and peace of mind. And yet, her luxurious life isn't without its challenges. Maintaining privacy as a public figure is an ongoing struggle. Paparazzi, online speculation, and invasive headlines constantly threaten her peace. But she has learned to set boundaries. Social media is used sparingly, and her interviews are intentional, designed to share her truth without oversharing or losing control of her narrative. This strategy has kept her grounded while allowing her fans glimpses into her world. Melissa also invests her wealth and energy in causes close to her heart. From charity work to advocacy for former child stars, she uses her influence to support others navigating the challenges she knows all too well. This adds depth to her luxurious lifestyle. It's not just about comfort, but about impact. Melissa's fame has become a tool, not a trap, and she leverages it to help others while continuing her own personal growth. And there's an element of surprise in her lifestyle too. Fans are often shocked to learn about the normalcy she maintains behind the glamour. She cooks meals at home, enjoys quiet nights reading or writing, and cherishes personal relationships that keep her grounded. Luxury, for Melissa, isn't the spotlight, it's being able to live life on her own terms. Yet, this balance of luxury and personal fulfillment is fragile. Old rumors, past controversies, and the legacy of child stardom occasionally resurface, testing her stability. But Melissa has mastered the art of resilience. She has learned that true wealth isn't in gold or cars, but in self-respect, autonomy, and the freedom to create a life aligned with her values. Her life today is a testament to transformation. From the pressures of childhood fame to adult success, Melissa Gilbert shows the world that luxury is not about perfection, it's about surviving, thriving, and owning your story. No celebrity story is complete without rumors, whispers, betrayals, and shocking claims that capture public imagination. For Melissa Gilbert, these rumors followed her for decades, sometimes distorting reality, sometimes revealing uncomfortable truths. What makes her story so compelling is how she navigated them, with honesty, courage, and, at times, sheer grit. Throughout her life, Melissa was surrounded by people who didn't always have her best interests at heart. Friends, colleagues, and even family members sometimes betrayed her trust, either unintentionally or in ways motivated by jealousy or ambition. Rumors spread quickly, fueled by a society eager to judge and a media hungry for sensationalism. Headlines ranged from questioning her personal choices to exaggerating conflicts from her past. But Melissa's response was remarkable. She faced them head-on, refusing to let gossip define her identity. One of the most persistent rumors involved her childhood co-stars. Fans speculated about rivalries and tensions behind the scenes of Little House on the Prairie. Some believed there were secret feuds, while others thought Melissa was excluded from certain social circles. The truth, Melissa revealed in interviews, was more nuanced. Like any workplace, the set had disagreements and misunderstandings, but the bonds formed there were real and meaningful. What the public saw as drama was often normal human friction magnified by fame. Betrayal also came in the form of public scrutiny. Decisions she made as a young adult, whether in her personal life or career, were often misinterpreted. Some people suggested she was reckless or ungrateful, but Melissa clarified that her choices were about survival, self-respect, and discovering who she really was outside the spotlight. Every rumor carried a grain of truth, but the context was always missing. Melissa also revealed that some of the darkest rumors centered on her mental health and emotional struggles. At a time when celebrities were expected to appear flawless, admitting vulnerability was risky. Yet, by speaking openly about anxiety, self-doubt, and health struggles, she turned speculation into empowerment. Fans saw a human being rather than a television character, and the truth became her greatest ally. Perhaps the most dramatic betrayals were those involving trust in close relationships. Friends or colleagues who acted in ways that hurt her deeply forced Melissa to learn boundaries and self-protection. She realized that not everyone could be trusted, and that her well-being had to come first. These experiences shaped her into someone who could not only survive in Hollywood but thrive, on her own terms. But the biggest revelation came when Melissa decided to speak openly about her life, scandals, and struggles. By confronting the rumors directly, she rewrote the narrative. What fans had assumed or speculated was often far from reality. And by doing so, she reclaimed her voice, her story, and her dignity. Melissa Gilbert's journey shows us that celebrity isn't just about glamour and fame. It's about navigating betrayal, confronting rumors, and discovering the unshakable truth of who you are. Her life, once misunderstood, became a testament to resilience and courage, and now, the shocking twists that no one expected are finally revealed. Just when fans thought they knew the whole story of Melissa Gilbert, the struggles, the scandals, the redemption, an unexpected twist shook everything. It's the kind of revelation that changes how you see a person, not just as a celebrity, but as a human being navigating fame, pain, and resilience. For years, Melissa had been living in a quiet, controlled life, carefully managing what the public could see. Fans assumed she had reached a peaceful chapter, but behind the calm exterior, a major revelation was brewing. This twist didn't involve another scandal or rumor. It involved the truth about her relationships, her legacy, and her personal reinvention, a truth that had been hidden for decades. Melissa surprised everyone when she publicly addressed her complicated relationship with fellow Little House on the Prairie star Melissa Sue Anderson. The two shared a bond that many believed was purely sisterly, but the reality was far more layered. Over the years, misunderstandings, jealousy, and unspoken tension had grown between them, fueled by media speculation and the pressures of early fame. What shocked fans was how candid Melissa Gilbert was about these dynamics, admitting vulnerabilities, regrets, and the unexpected lessons that emerged. She revealed that the bond was stronger than anyone realized, built on mutual respect and shared experience, even if the public only saw fragments. But the twist didn't stop there. Melissa also disclosed how she had quietly battled personal demons while maintaining her career, using her struggles as fuel for growth rather than allowing them to define her. Fans were amazed to learn that she had invested in charitable initiatives, mentorship programs, and behind-the-scenes projects that helped countless former child actors navigate fame and its fallout. This part of her life had remained largely invisible, hidden behind the spotlight everyone assumed was all she cared about. The most unbelievable aspect of this twist was how Melissa embraced the narrative of survival. Instead of hiding her scars, she highlighted them as evidence of resilience. Every challenge, betrayal, and rumor became part of a larger story of empowerment. She showed that fame and fortune are not measures of success, authenticity, courage, and the willingness to face your past are. For fans, this revelation was both shocking and inspiring. Melissa Gilbert, once seen only as Laura Ingalls, emerged as a fully realized person, a survivor, a mentor, a fighter, and a woman unafraid to rewrite her story. The image of perfection faded, replaced by something far more compelling, a real human being, navigating life with honesty and grit. And as her story continues to unfold, one lesson becomes clear: no matter how glittering a life appears on the surface, the real story, the triumphs, heartbreaks, and twists, is always more powerful. Melissa Gilbert's journey proves that truth, courage, and resilience can transform even the most unbelievable twists into a story worth telling. This is the side of Melissa Gilbert the world needed to see, and now, after decades of speculation, she has finally exposed it all. If you've been captivated by Melissa's journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, comment your thoughts below, and share this story with others who need to hear the truth. Her story reminds us that every celebrity has a life beyond the cameras, and sometimes, the most unbelievable twists are the ones that teach us the most.